Hi, so this is Sam Hockaday. As you can see in this picture, I planted a small tree. What you don't know is this is a very rare, rather difficult tree to get established. Once established, they're a piece of cake. But getting it established is rather difficult. Planting a Texas Madrone tree, which is what this is my 9th attempt at a Texas Madrone tree. The first 8, actually the first 4, I did plant all along this area, scattered out. There's where one used to be, and then way off in the distance you can kind of see a little bit of a black area, kind of a protected thing. There you go, you can kind of see it. That's where one, I called him John. So I had John, Paul, George, and Ringo, my original 4. John actually did really well. He lasted about 5 years until the city decided they didn't like mowing around it, and I unprotected it, and they actually ran over poor John and destroyed him. I got really angry, and I built that shroud around where John used to be. There's actually not a tree there at all. It's just weeds, as you can see. But I was so angry that I put that barrier around it just so they would have to mow around it anyways. And I haven't put a tree there in more than 5 years. But it does give me some personal satisfaction to know that they can't mow over that spot anymore. Eventually I'll try another Madrone there, but for right now there's nothing there except just to aggravate the guys that mowed around it. Same thing where Paul used to be. Paul was right there, and they didn't mow over Paul, but they put some poison around the base of it, and that's kind of what I'm getting to here in a minute. The root system of the Madrone, particularly when you're establishing one, the Texas Madrone, is extremely sensitive. I mean extremely sensitive. And that killed him and the other ones. And then the 3 other after that I tried all perished once the roots got damaged, and I tried my best to protect them. This one I've had in the container for quite some time, and I'm hoping that it will become established. The trick is on a Madrone, if you come over here and you look at the pot that it was in, you'll notice the bottom has been cut off, and then the pot itself has been cut in half. When you plant a Texas Madrone tree, you're not going to find them very big, if you find them at all. There's actually one place near Kerrville called Natives of Texas. It's the only place in the entire state of Texas where you can buy a Madrone that I have found. Madrones are not cheap. This version that you see here costs $80 when I got him. That same version is around $100 now for such a small tree. They're extremely hard to establish, extremely hard to grow from seed, which is the only way to grow them from seed, and which is why they're priced the way they are. But when you plant one, you don't do like you normally do and just pull the plant or the tree out of the pot and then plop it right into wherever you're going to plant it in the hole. With a Madrone, you have to be very meticulous and very careful. You have to first cut the bottom off, which is what I did right there. You hold the pot very delicately and you cut the bottom off. And what I did is I cut the bottom off with these tin snips that you see right here, and you want to go right up next to the plastic. Don't dig into it. You don't want to touch the roots if you can avoid it, and carefully turn the pot in your other hand while you cut, and carefully cut off the bottom. Then you go to the side here and you carefully cut off the container down the side again, not touching any roots at all. If you touch a root, if you cut a root, you will kill the plant. The plant will die. When you plant the Madrone, you cut the hole, and unfortunately I've already dug the hole. you dig the hole. As you can see, I used a sharpshooter, a shovel, and a fork. The fork initially, then the shovel, then the sharpshooter. You want the walls to be completely symmetric in a perfect circle, pretty much the width of the container. And when you're ready to plant the madrone, you put the container with the bottom already off of it. You put it in the hole, which is perfectly the size, if you can, the size of a container, and then you cut down the side and carefully pull it away, and then you take some organic material like you see, like I got there. That's a planting potting soil. That's really good. Juniper leaves that have already fallen off the juniper is also extremely good to throw around the madrone. There's some in the area, in the neighborhood. I'm going to go by there in the next week or so and scoop some up into a plastic trash bag, and I'm going to have that handy and kind of sprinkle that around. The madrones really like that because the tree tends to grow in a kind of a forest canyon setting. The way a madrone grows, a Texas madrone, is it typically grows on a very a steep slope or a canyon walls. As you can see, it's on a steep slope right here. And what happens is 1 year the roots grow, and the roots grow to the point to where it's strong enough to hold what it thinks the limbs are going to grow. And then when the limbs grow just enough to where the roots will hold the limbs together, and then it stops for the next year. And it does the same pattern over and over. The roots grow a little bit, enough to have the strength to hold the branches, and then the branches grow. That's how a madrone grows. At least that's how I was told it grows, and I have everything to believe that information was true. So when you first get it established, you don't want to soak it in water, but you do want to kind of keep the soil somewhat moist. And again, it's on a very good drainage and very slopey slope. You don't want to put it in flat ground. It won't do as well there. It will do much better on slopes. So whatever water gets into it, the soil can stay moist, but the water is not going to settle in there. That will drown the plant. It'll damage the roots, and it will kill the plant. Again, the key to establishing a madrone is protecting the roots at all costs. You do not score the roots. You don't yank it out of the pot that it comes in. You peel it off like I described, and you put it in very carefully in a hole just big enough for the ball to settle in, and you don't touch the ball. You don't mess with it. You don't mess with the roots. You don't do anything of the sort, or you will kill the tree in relatively short order. Don't touch the roots. Leave them be. They're fine. Don't score it. The roots, again, are fine. Leave them be. And that's how you plant a Texas madrone. I wish I had filmed earlier where you could actually see me putting it in the ground, but you get the idea. You put it in a hole just to the right size of the pot. You cut the bottom off first, you put it in the hole, and then you cut off the side without touching the roots. Never cut the roots again. And you kind of take that container, kind of peel it off and bring it up and over if you need to, but don't touch the roots. No matter what you do, do not touch the root system of a Texas madrone when you're planting it, and it should do fine. These trees are prehistoric trees. If they do get established, they will live to be about 150 years old, so they'll outlive you easily. They're one of the rarest trees in all of North America. The Texas madrone, there's other ones. Texas madrone only naturally grows in one spot in the entire world, and that is right there in the Guadalupe Valley, near Kerrville, Texas. That's the only place they grow naturally in the entire world. So they're a native Texas tree, but they're very rare, very hard to get, very expensive to get, very difficult to establish. But if you look at pictures online, you'll see what an amazing tree this is, an absolutely amazing tree, and you'll understand why I got one or why I keep trying to grow one. So after this part, I'm going to take the protection that you see right over there, and I'm going to put it around this tree so the city won't mow around it or over it or anything like that. and I'm going to protect it, and it'll be up there probably for about 4 or 5 years. If I have to redo it, fine, but it'll be there 4 or 5 years, so that the tree will hopefully get established and the city won't mow over it again like they did the last one. I have decided to name this tree Jan after a childhood friend of mine, and she passed away a year ago, and I was thinking of a good name for this madrone tree, and I decided to name it Jan. All my trees, you can see them right here. There's a few of them. That's Gus right there. There's Big Tex, he died. This is Uncle Don. And all these trees, there's about 50 to 60 trees of them. I planted every single one of them all along this green belt in the city of McKinney, Texas, with the city's permission. If you count the trees in and around my house, which is another 20 plus trees, it totals to around 70 plus trees that I have planted in and around my house. This is a peach tree that has really great peaches. In any event, these are some Vitexes right there. In any event, this video was about the Texas Madrone. Good luck with it. Take care. Bye-bye.